Right. Hey guys, welcome back to Britain's Rare Guitars. We're here with RD Amplification. We've got Rob and Alex. And Rob, tell us about RD Amplification.
For years I've been sort of customising, modifying and repairing other people's amps, and built a few of my own. And you know, quite a few people sort of said, well, it's about time you started to build something that, you know, can be...
So people requested you to build some amps?
Yeah, because obviously they're sort of feeling that, you know, there was a market for what I could offer, so I kind of responded to that and built the first one, the prototype, got some feedback, adjusted a few things.
How long have you been going?
As RD Amplification, probably about 5 years now, 5 or 6 years. And once I set up the website, decided that, you know, that I could probably potentially make a living out of this. Yeah, so about 5 years.
Oh, brilliant. And who do you make them for? Just anybody that wants
anything?
anything?
Yeah, absolutely. It started off as friends of friends, and people that just knew, you know, people like Alex I'd met. I'd repaired an amp for him, and like most people I repair an amp for, they end up buying one.
Yeah, he's got a funny sales pitch
kind of, it's like coming to my parlour and let me fix your amp. And by the way,
and show you this.
Have a little play on that while I'm busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the way it works.
So he'll come back and he'll tell you how rubbish that amp is that you've brought in to have fixed, and then you should try this instead. Have a coffee, sit down, and try that. And then lo and
Passing the
behold,
retreats.
Exactly, yeah. And then you end up buying one. Funny.
Yeah. So I've sort of honed in on a particular design that I think will appeal to a broad spectrum of people, really.
Brilliant, brilliant. So this one is the Dualist. You brought the Dualist with us today. Why is it called the Dualist? Tell us about it.
This is a core amplifier. It comes in a number of different output stages, depends what people want. Anything from a few watts to possibly 100 watts, but I try and get people to avoid that if I can. It's called the Dualist because it's got two gain stages in the preamp, essentially. So it's got single mode and dual mode. Single is pretty much your normal, volume treble, bass, middle into the master and the reverb. Dual mode pulls in a second triode stage, which then cascades overdrive, and it pulls in gain 2, a level control to balance the two modes, and it's got an additional filter control which just helps to take out some of the top end if you want to.
Brilliant, brilliant. All right, well, Alex, can you show us a bit of, show us what this amp can do from the right cleans to the big solo-y, melty face kind of thing.
I think of it in sort of simpler terms, you know. So it's a single channel amp with 4 different sounds on it. So if I do a really, really simple, let's just play a chord. That's your clean sound. Then there's a mid boost. And then there's a second gain stage. And then I can add the boost on the gain stage. So if you put it all together, but even with all that gain,
so you can achieve all those giant dynamics just by having it in that full gain melty face channel. and just rolling off that volume to get that
Why
nice
didn't
clean.
you call it the face melter?
Yes, should have.
Yeah, I mean that's on a reasonably low gain setting. I mean it will crank up.
Yeah, okay. Brilliant. Well, we got to mention the speakers because you did something really special with the speakers, didn't you?
Well, just as a bit of an experiment and just for fun, really. Initially, I thought, well, it'd be really useful if, you know, if you didn't have to keep carting your 2x12 cab round to your mate's house for a bit of a practice or up in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So I thought, how decent a small speaker can we get in the head, just for bedroom practice, really. So this particular head's been oversized by another 2 inches to accommodate an 8-inch driver in there, which has been kindly provided by Tayden, who are based in Norwich, build British speakers, no parts made in China. They sent me 4 prototypes, because obviously this is a kind of a grown-up amp. Most amps with an 8-inch speaker in, you know, you may get treble and a bass and a volume, and this has got lots more than that.
And it sounds
so we wanted something that not only sounded good clean at low level, but also would handle the overdrive without sort of fizzing out and sounding really horrible and raspy, which is kind of what I was getting with most 8-inch drivers. So
does it basically act as a combo, doesn't it? Once you
can do.
it at the back.
It just you just pull your main cab out, and it can operate as a small combo.
Alex, you told me earlier that you actually use the 8-inch, just the head.
Yeah.
For pub gigs and stuff.
Yeah, you can do that. You can mic it up as well. It's really handy just for sort of bedroom practice as well, when you don't want to have a massive 2x12 on.
Shaking the house. Yeah, it's not the best.
I think it was one of the rare things, wasn't it? So you invited me over for a wonderful blind speaker test through a cab.
Tayden sent us 4 sort of prototypes. They don't actually make an 8-inch driver. So when I phoned them up and said, look, this is the sort of what I'm trying to do, they said, well, we'll knock up 4 demo drivers for you. And by the way, we don't make an H, so tell us what you think. Yeah. So that's what we did. And I stuck 4 8-inch drivers into a 4x12 cab, and Alex and a few other friends came and tried them out to see kind of what we thought worked best with this amp.
Totally blind.
Totally blind.
Yeah. What, you playing blindfolded or just?
Yeah, totally blind. They're all do that when they come to my house. It's a necessity to wear a blindfold, clearly.
Yeah, but it was quite rare, so I think all of us agreed on which one we preferred.
There were a few little arguments, and then gradually, you know, ping-ponging between one of 4, and it started to, you know, be a compromise with what sounded really good clean, but also what catered for the fairly heavy gain that it can produce as well, because most of them, you know, tend to fizz out. But
well, let's quickly mention also that you've got an effect in here. What effect have you got in there?
It's just a standard tube reverb circuit. However, we've gone for an extra long reverb tray, which gives you a really long tail, but we've modified the circuit to get quite a dry mix, so it doesn't kind of completely swamp you like many famous reverb amps do. So up to about sort of halfway, you still get quite a dry mix. So the tail, although very long, kind of hangs around in the background a bit like a delay might.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, and so obviously, Rob, you sell these. You're going full time next year, aren't you?
Hopefully, February onwards, early part of next year.
Fantastic!
It's kind of progressed to the point where I think I can actually bite the bullet and concentrate on it full time.
And could you tell us what is the process when someone comes to you asking for an amp?
Sure. Well, I try and help to sort of educate people in that process. So I try and get the customer to do some research themselves. You know, what kind of tubes do you like? What speakers are you thinking of putting in it? Quite a lot of the time they don't know, so I kind of say, well, it might be quite useful if you go and listen to a few demos of different speakers, get a flavour of what you kind of want in it. And I try the whole process with building the amp for me is to try and engage the customer in the process.
A learning process.
Absolutely, rather than just having a pick list where it says where you can have this, or this. You know, it's about sort of trying to interact a little bit.
That's fantastic. And didn't you just you did something really cool when you asked for yours, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just a bit lazier. So Rob's
just a bit lazy.
and remain, but I've had a rough idea as to what sort of tubes I wanted and what sound. But you know, I've not got great big hands, but I've got quite a heavy picking style in terms of. So quite often the amp breaks up earlier than it would for others. So I think I just sent you a record, and I think it was a Bonamassa tune or something, and I just said, how do I get that sound? And then I think at 3 a.m. you sent me a text that said, I've worked out what it is, it's these tubes and this sound. And then lo and behold, it was there, and it was quite close, wasn't it? It was... the overdrive was...
That's awesome. Thanks, Alex. So, if anybody can come to you with a record and go, Rob,
well, it's not quite as easy.
Rob, make me that sound.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, records have got loads of processing on, so it's not quite easy to do that. But I try and sort of get a feel for what the customer, what kind of sound they're after. I'd have to say it's generally pitched at the sort of blues rock market. Mm-hmm. It will shred out if you really want it to. And a very nice young lady at the last guitar show turned up. I thought, I'm not sure she's going to like the amp. She just cranked everything up, and everybody went, yeah, that's cool. So, I mean, if you, for example, you stuck a graphic, a 6-band graphic, in the effects loop, that would be able to sculpt things massively. Additionally, if you really wanted that kind of
brilliant
sort of sound.
And so, how do our audience at home? How do they get in contact with you if they want to grab one of these?
You can just go onto my website, rdamplification.co.uk. There's a feedback mechanism on there for you to leave a message for me, or there's my telephone number, or you can just email me.
Brilliant.
And we'll talk about,
that's
the requirements.
All right, guys. Well, thanks, Rob. Thanks, Alex, for coming down today.
No problem.
That's it from Britain's Rare Guitars today. We'll see you next time.